Ba, bo, 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 ba. Yo, yo, yo. Wait, let me drop the link and then. I think Andre's gonna join me soon. What did I just do? Man said, bruv, you know. That's funny. I'm just gonna do what Jacob does and just wait until people join. That's the trick to a good live stream. I'm waiting from an email from John, who was just on Grill Country, because he started a conversation that I think we should continue.
I say bruv for one specific reason, and it's that movie, I think it's Human Trafficking. You know, where they go, nice one, brother. I said nice one, bruv.
I've not seen the movie, but bruv is
yeah. You may not know the scene, but like that they're essentially just like, it's like, I think a Saturday afternoon after they've just been clubbing all night, and one guy just calls the other on the toilet, and like because they've got like a party lined up or something. I can't remember the reason, and all they're saying is "nice one, brother," and it goes for like a minute, and then they hang up straight away. I'm like, yeah, that was a party scene in like Manchester or wherever it was in the 90s. That sort of energy.
Manchester in the 90s sounds, yeah. Bruv, I thought was just a London thing, and then I left London. I was like, oh, everyone else says bruv.
Yeah. Let me check where the movie's supposed to be centered, because I'm guessing Manchester for some specific reason. And it could just be maybe about London. I think I can't remember the actual name of the movie now. It's just,
I'll come to you later. But what do you make of the problem we were trying to
fix? Yeah.
Right.
Discord will work, but it just would require a constant sort of process of teaching people how to use it. And as long as someone's patient and a good teacher, that can be fine. However, I think what you could do, you could compress and categorize and sort of summarize the most important things that are needed in order to expedite the process for someone. And so you waste the least amount of time as possible, because you don't know how busy they are. But then if they've got extra time and they want to learn X or Y specifically, you're still there available for them to point out like what that does or what that does.
Wait, lost. Are you talking about teaching people how to use Discord?
Yes.
Okay, all right, yeah,
Yeah, that part specifically, because the things that go on inside of that Discord, now that's a different matter.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's a problem that can be solved, but I think it's wise that there are people working on trying to make space for conversation, because I think that's really what we're trying to do. Is some of us are shameless enough to put our face on the internet, others are smart enough to not want anything to do with all of this,
Yeah.
but they've still got the same thirst for meaningful conversation that we've got. And I think, yeah, Discord can serve that function, but I personally, I don't like Discord. I struggle with all of the different channels and the thing. I join a voice chat. If someone's there, we can have a conversation.
This is why I say like compress, like, well, say we design a Discord for it, which is super easy. You can design it to be the simplest thing ever in terms of like making a dumb phone for someone where it's just got buttons and then like a 911 button or something, and that's it. Maybe a light on it, and that sort of Discord would be the easiest thing to make. You just have let's say 2 rooms. One is like here's where you can type. The other one's come in here to talk. So to show someone how to use that is incredibly easy. Now, if you think about bridges of meaning, and we try and explain to a new person how to use that, to go through all those sections and what means what, that's a lot more. It's like a combinatorial explosion of information that they now have to sift through, and they may just want to go on there to talk, be like, "Yeah, I'm thinking more about this Jesus guy lately. Can you tell me like what else was good about him?" So that the striving might be completely simple, but what's been put in place has grown to a superstructure. And I feel like the sort of things like we were talking about, it's like, yeah, not everyone wants to jump on a live stream and be seen publicly and talk publicly. Then again, no one just wants to only just do a one-to-one. There needs to be like a sort of in between where these people can just congregate and talk with freedom, but in a simple way that where the technology is not getting in front of them as an issue. It's not being a barrier as a basis.
I was just thinking, is all this even a problem that needs solving?
Yeah, I
don't
believe it. Yeah, I don't believe it fully is. But for me, said like I think people do want to hang out, like say in the back rooms, not ready to come on the screen yet, and get to know the other person in a way. But I'm not sure of the total importance of it.
Yeah, I think let's strip it back down just to people. John came on the live stream on Grail Country, and there are many more Johns, people that would like to engage.
Yeah,
that've got really interesting, not just interesting, like meaningful stories, and that they're wrestling with. And in the 5 minutes that John was on screen, that he spoke on screen, you could really see that he's wrestling.
Yes.
And it's not so much that we want, to broadcast that on YouTube and that, but we want a space where it can do the wrestling. So yeah, it's Discord just the name itself isn't very promising either. But
yeah, I know.
It's like, yeah, I don't think we have to, be teaching people how to use Discord for them to get engaged. But I do think there's a need for people who are providing the service of, okay, you want to have a conversation, you don't want to do it online.
Yeah.
These are the people that you can talk to, and these are the ways you can talk to them. Could be Zoom, could be even StreamYard. You can have a conversation without it being recorded.
Of
So
course.
there are all multiple channels available,
Mhm.
and I think it's not so much the technology that we need, it's the people that we need.
Right. Yeah. So would it be sort of reaching out and finding the people that we know have like these skills and sort of ability to understand, explain, and sort of, as I say, like be a concierge to like the ideas and onboard them, and give that person like a variety of connection options, and somehow just collaborate all of that together into one source. So we've got like let's say 5 people that can talk to reach out to these people who aren't aren't ready to go in the fully online space, but do want to do something.
Chad has been doing that for the last however many months. Even in live stream chats, just reaching out to people. I'd like to talk to you, send me an email. And what's come of that has been, some amazing conversation and people sharing their story, which is, I think, what we're trying to get at.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just making, I think we need more Chads. And it's not everyone is built for it. Like I've got all the free time in the world. I don't have a family or kids to look after. I can volunteer myself for something like that, but I don't know if it's it's clearly not a thing everyone can do. So how do we create more Chads? That's the title of the stream.
If you can change the title, I think that's actually a very good title. Yeah, like I'm with you there. Like, it's the sort of thing I do a lot for people, but not for me. It's not necessarily always in the Christian way, like reaching out to the other Christians and like with the spiritual crises, but it's more general and it can go to like mental health and general life problems. But I do it all the time as well, and I have nothing going on.
Speaking of mental health, I know Jacob had a live stream schedule. I didn't even check when that was for. Where is meant to be
yeah, I think he started recently. Let me have a look because I pulled up his page. I have to remember how to spell his name.
Whilst you're doing that, I should probably be speaking, so there's not just silence on the stream.
I found it, so it doesn't matter because I'm so good. He's doing a just chatting that started. Wait, sorry, that's us. He has learning the Pinkel Evos, and that's been going for half an hour. And there's only 2 people. There's only one other person watching it as well.
Okay, what I will do is.
So yeah, he is streaming, but it's the super sort of like.
All right, yeah, and
myself. We won't be treading on his toes.
Yeah, that is the last thing I want to be doing. So I'm going to end the stream on Jacob's channel, but keep it going on the Randos United channel.
Oh, good.
But Jacob's got his quotes and get married, have children. There we go.
I can't believe I was like looking for his channel. I saw the first video. I'm like, oh wait, that's the one that we're doing.
And yes, right. We should announce that the people that were watching on Jacob's channel should go to Randos United. Anyway, they'll figure it out.
Has it just like swapped over now?
Yeah. No, I was both of them before. Now it's only on Randos.
Oh, okay. Just type in the comments, and no, actually, I'll type that into the YouTube, and then they'll say that.
Cool. You're like our TLC Jamie. Oh my gosh. What it was it? I was looking for was it Grim Grizz or was it Luke that was looking to hire someone and McMahon volunteered? You
Yes.
you would keep
Just
McMahon.
sitting there on the street, like pull that shit up, Andre. Get the solar scripture out so we can go over it again with this new guy.
Oh gosh, could you imagine? That sounds
I
terrible.
can't imagine. I'll just leave a comment. Oh, we've moved to Randos United.
Was it Jacob streaming or was it Ezzy and
It's Hezzy and Jacob.
oh yeah, okay. So I think what I'm probably going to do is end the stream soon if I don't get an email from
Oh yeah, confirmation.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
that was
a bit.
Oh yeah, I feel bad now because I just impulsively started the stream without even checking. This is why we need a TLC programmer to let you know.
Yeah, well, I would have the way, because like Lance just wanted to finish it and everything, and you just threw your email there, and that used to be the problem that happened on Zoom on the Stoa all the time, is that you would meet someone like hey, let's connect together. I'd like to chat to you again. What's your email? Put it in the text chat, and this usually happens the last 3 minutes of the whole video stream. So you put your email in there, and it's like sometimes there'll be an error or it wouldn't go through, or like you forget to write it down. And then if they end on the dot, you're like, oh, I've lost everything. I don't have their email. I'm never going to see them ever again. Whoops. And like it is such a thing. It's well, would at least in this situation be fixed by not stopping the whole stream, just the broadcasting to YouTube at that time, and then allowing John to just ensure that he is sort of like able to move to the next spot with you, or like that you've got some form of contact that's like more direct, because email will go to him, but it's sort of like a bit more mysterious in a way. Because I think like at our age, we're like, oh yeah, check Gmail, there's the email, well, there's the link, can do all of it. But maybe to someone like him, email is like approached differently, at the very least. We also expect things to be like responded to like minutes afterwards. And
yeah,
he could be expecting that like we meant like an hour later or something after the stream.
Yeah, that is true. It's amazing that we can do this anyway, isn't it? Though? It's amazing.
Yeah,
we've got the technology to be able to.
But not only that, but like the intention of doing this is like it's like a meta function in a way, because it wasn't like, hey, I could show you how to use Discord. We said move to another StreamYards and we'll like stream us showing you how to use Discord to other people, which is sort of showing other people how to use Discord, or even teach someone how to use Discord in a way. So like it's serving like different functions to like what we even wanted to do, which is just to show him around. But
yeah, best case scenario would have been you're in this city, oh, this person's got estuary, so that would have been the best case scenario. But like Lance said, there aren't, certainly not in the United States, not enough estuary to cover all of the list of people that are listening and paying attention to the conversation.
Well, like, oh, it's like great meeting you, and like, I hear you're in Detroit. That's interesting. I'm in Australia. Oh, do you know any like estuaries that might be around near me? No, you don't. You don't know where Australia is. Okay, you've not heard of my city. Okay, that's cool. Like, do you have an email address? Oh, you don't give it out. Like, it could just like it can go from like, oh, here's an estuary that's completely local to you, to sort of like, oh, you don't really know my like air, like my the side of the country I'm on at all. You just know your country sort of. And that's not a stereotyping sort of thing that I'm trying to get at, or like region specific. It's just a reality that happens that a lot of Americans just know America. So I can't ask heaps of people in this space who are good resources where I can find an estuary, because like it's just way without the limits. But to other people in America, they might very likely know that is the best case scenario. But I think a lot of unlikely things happen, so having an online connection is very handy.
Personally, to you, would you prefer an in-person, if you had an in-person estuary where you are in Australia, to the much wider variety of conversation that the internet offers?
I think I'd like to have both, because I've never, well, specifically, I've never had the chance to explore like an estuary or even a physical space in terms of discussing religion and faith and spirituality. So by necessity, I've only had the internet available. That said, from my experiences using it, I do like what it can deliver in terms of the people you find and how you filter yourself out into certain groups, who you meet and make connections with, and like, oh, so you like that part of Christianity, cool, like that's the part I like too, but I don't like those guys talking about that stuff. I find irrelevant, so let's talk now and then about this. And you can cater to your own wants and needs in a sense, but having the capacity to always expand to like more and more things based on the people in that community.
I think I definitely prefer the in-person estuaries that I go to. We had one just past Saturday in London. That was amazing, and I actually got one of my friends to come with me to it, and it was she participated beautifully. It was amazing. So I definitely prefer the in-person one, but the online conversations do offer something as well.
Yeah.
So, like, are you interested in starting an estuary yourself? Is that something that?
I don't know about starting, like, because I get very analytical and obsessed and ruminated with details. So for me to start something, I then constantly track its growth. And if it's something that's not meant to grow much, I would start getting anxiety over losing one member and going from 8 to 7, and whether we can get them back to 8. But joining an estuary where like those things are still the same, but it's not, I don't have a responsibility to worry for it, and I can just explore it on my own. That's something I'd definitely be interested in, at least investigating and trying out.
Do you know if there's you're not the only Australian that pays attention to this little corner?
Yeah.
Are you engaging with other?
The other Australians are like either in Queensland or they're in New South Wales, and then there's a couple in Perth.
Well, but like on Discord or even in chat, are you engaging conversations with like you guys know each other sort
of? Yeah, but like it's not like the case like we try and get like a friend club going and make sure we all know each other and like, oh, you're another Australian, let's come chat to the other Australian here. But there are ones where like I sort of get to know their face, or like when they pop up again, I'm like, oh hey, like
Got
another
you.
Australian great, and I can like just identify them there. And then there are others like where I just identify the voice. They talk for a bit, and I never see them again. I'm like, okay, fair enough. So, yeah, I sort of don't make a pushing effort to try and make a sort of group or a team to sort of get them all together.
Oh gosh, I thought that was an email from John, but it's not.
Oh.
Claire. No, actually,
Wait.
oh my gosh, no, she wasn't there. It wasn't Claire.
I mean, but if she was, can you imagine how that conversation would have gone?
I mean, she's been to two estuary, three actually. She was at the first one that I had the speaker's corner, and I think the protocol, the estuary protocol, sort of encourages everyone to have something to say and also listen. So it's difficult for one person to completely dominate the conversation or like force the agenda if the group isn't on board with that.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, that would actually really work then. But
yeah, that's right. Claire called the heretic and thinks more estuaries than you, Nathaniel.
I still don't think I would want to be one with her. That said, even if it's like some of like that power play is sort of taken out, it just feel like a general sort of not wanting to be there because of character and things I've known about her.
That, to me, goes against the spirit of estuary. That what excites me about estuary is the fact that just the fringe encounter nature.
It would, but it would be when I would be stepping in, putting the foot in for myself, and going like, I want to like go to another estuary and try it out in that space. Even though like I do want to participate and it is set up like this for this reason, I'm just not comfortable being there. So it's a problem that's mine. It's not of the estuary.
Yeah, that's completely fair enough. But yeah, I think I think that's probably the most used phrase in all these conversations. I think. Anyway,
It is.
personal. It's all personal.
Or Jordan Peterson said, and then anything.
When Tyler on the previous stream was talking about how TLC can play a role in the wider conversation, I think how estuary can play a role in the wider conversation is training people to have conversations with people they don't want to have conversations with necessarily, and that's the gift I think to the fraught nature of conversations right now, where it's just everyone wants to just listen to their side, and the only thing you want to listen to from the other side is how wrong they are. And I think the estuary as an idea can afford a space where on a political scale, on a whatever scale, people on opposite sides can listen. You don't have to agree. You don't have to agree. You can challenge, but you do have to listen to them.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, that's what excites me about the project.
Yeah, I mean, there was a waiting on that conversation of like, okay, listen to what we've got to say, but like we have been listening to what you're all saying, but just like pause for a moment, let us get through this, then it's your turn, and so on, and it works for like a little while now and there, but there still is a big air that's in there that's like, well, okay, this is exactly what you're getting wrong with, I don't know, this part of Christianity, and if you understand this, then you'll change your thoughts about that wrong thing you just said, and then we can be on a better mutual ground because you're understanding us better. And the, like it was done on both sides, and no one was innocent there. But
Yeah.
It starts to evolve into that quite quickly. That they're sort of like, oh, okay, we can see some mutual ground here. We could have both things together, but I also have to like explain to you that you're thinking the wrong way here. Reframe it like this, and now you can do both things. The person doesn't have to reframe necessarily. Like they might just want to live in that one frame, but for what was being aimed at in that conversation, A, that reframing is necessary, and B, you sort of have to prove each other wrong on certain parts to understand better, which is contradictory, but it's not contradictory, it's paradoxical, but it sort of shaves off the edges of some of
do
right?
you need to prove each other wrong? Do you need to prove each other wrong for transformation to occur?
No, not necessarily, but I think with those personalities, it was less conducive to try and put forward strong positive arguments,
Got you,
have
yeah.
those contemplated, and then like, yeah, good point. Instead, it was a bit combative, and it's more so like, okay, here's something. Okay, tell me your thing. Blah 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 blah. Okay, you're right with this bit, but let me just sort of point to this other bit, which I think you've got incorrect. And if you come with me on sort of like the journey to sort of show you why it's incorrect, you can then rethink it or like run it through a process and be like, okay, now I'm seeing your side a little bit better. And you gradually go to and fro, taking each other through that. And it's like a nestling of a rope, and then suddenly you're near the middle. It's like you're more mutual to each other in terms of agreeing, as opposed to being on the very, very ends. And one side takes a giant tug, pulls the other person, and then the other side takes a giant tug and pulls the other people. And you're just sort of doing that. Instead, you're sort of having like little spats or like little conflicts, and sooner than you know it, like you're near the middle. It's like, oh, actually, we're quite similar in what we're saying.
Yeah, I think that's why personal stories are a must. It's
Exactly.
You're much more likely to find those meeting points when you share your story. And I think it was Elizabeth Oldfield in a conversation with Paul Vanderklay that said one of her tricks is asking someone to talk about a story from their childhood, because then it's harder for you to dislike someone if you can imagine them as a 9-year-old boy or girl. It's that innocence is there a little bit more, and yeah. So I think personal stories offer, you get more connecting points in there.
Yeah, I think you can.
You can, yeah.
It depends on how your life has gone, because like with mine, as I said, like 30 like pretty much just consistent years of atheism, and then bang 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 Christianity appears. So if I'm asked to like think back to my childhood about something that might remind me of Christianity, the church, Jesus, whatever.
It doesn't have to be in the context of Christianity or even
okay. Well, even like where I am now in my life and the things I'm into, and I like, could you think of it in your childhood way you might have gotten into that, or like, did you like this thing, like this part of music back when you were a kid? If I think all the way back then, like I've had so many like machinations and like schisms in my life where I've changed directions massively, that if I try and go back to that spot, I'm like, I've got no idea how many paths made it to the way they are. I know when certain things arise, but it's even difficult for me with like my developmental problems from like getting PTSD through like bullying stuff over time and undiagnosed mental illnesses for years to actually think back to certain points in my life. Like I can't remember most of my 20s at all. So if I think back to like when I first started liking certain artists, and I know it's this certain year because I can look it up, I try and conceive of what I was doing that year. I'm like, I've got no idea. Like the memory's just gone. Same with a bunch of childhood stuff. It's not just that it's hard to recollect. It's like I semantically can remember my school and certain like experiences there, but I don't know what was that first thing when I heard I don't know, like a band that was popular in like 2007 or something. When I connected with it.
If you're asked for a childhood memory, any childhood memory, what comes to mind? You don't have to share it. Just what do you have anything come to mind?
Well, I did tell people this one that happened when I think I was 2, and it's like a flashbulb memory. It's like I think it's the earliest memory I ever had. And there's like this surf coast in Australia, and there's a small little like bridge. Then there's like a tiny pier, tiny little island, and then like there's a water inway between that and the sea, where you can go fishing. And because I was like an infant, I must have just been like waddling towards the water or something, and I got caught by the tiniest wave you can ever imagine, because like physically I'm like that big, but like when we conceive of powerful waves, it's like, whoa, 20-meter high wave, like at a ship. But to me as like a little kid, it's like that just floored me, and I got like stolen by the ocean, like by Neptune. It's like pulling me out. And I just really quickly remember going from being up to suddenly everything is water around me. I can see like this distant ocean, the sea, and I'm rapidly being fired out, like as fast as I can even conceive of. But then, pretty much instantaneously, something grabs my leg, and it's my father like saving me out of that singular wave from going out to like into the water. And it's like a flashbulb memory in my head, because I can remember very clearly sort of going like from that to that, and having this like, I don't know, it was like a missile how fast I was going in my own mind, of like traveling out to nothingness and then being saved by a person I couldn't even see behind me, who had like all the power in the world, but was it just my dad, and just grabbing my tiny little like dumb kid's leg and being like, okay, no, and saving me. But I think that's, to me, that's a really important memory to have as a very first experience, because it was if I had to imagine like what the power of a god would be like, or like, and it wasn't a religious experience, because like it couldn't have been, but it feels to me in my mind like it can be if I play it out, like from being a tiny little child, powerless and everything, and suddenly I'm jetted towards the abyss, but then saved by a figure I can't see, sort of sense phenomenologically, and not visually or like anything like that. And it's like, what? Like my existence is just like instantly saved. I'm like, yeah, like I think there's something of religion there, maybe, or and then
I mean,
spiritual, but not really. But in
not
a sense,
really, but
yes.
very much yes, really.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I guess like it was my dad, but then I could go, well, but God made sure that was possible. Like,
He did. He must have done.
yeah. And I don't know, but that is like one of the very, very early childhood memories I had that's actually important, like meant something, because I went from like going from like living to like what's happening to like, oh, it's all good. Whereas a lot of other ones, it's just like random encodings of like I'm in a room of a house holding a Batman figure and I'm hungry, and then I drop something, and then I decide to go to another room or something like that, and it's just random collections, and like I can't make anything of that, but it's decided to stay in that long-term potentiation, and it's got no use, but I can remember it. And I know I think in terms of childhood memories, it's like when you are relational to others and they're about the same age, and you talk about things that you both experienced or did, usually through school, it's a lot easier to make that relational connection and then have nostalgia or whatever. And then you have your brain just sort of go, yeah, like that's when that happened. Like, or that's what you remember about that. So, like, for instance, like when Pokemon came in to schools and it was like this big craze and this fad, I can distinctly remember being in my school having Pokemon cards and then the school banning them. I've got like memories of kids just walking around with like either, like those binder things with like the sleeves.
That's
Or
funny. Now at my little brother's school, there is part of a Pokemon club.
really, so it's a comeback. That's sick. But like, I do remember that like I had a folder. Then some kids would have like one kid had just like a sock, and the card was like shoved in there. Then some would have like sandwich bags, and then like the kids who were a little bit richer would have like a Ziploc bag. And everyone's just like walking around carrying these bunches of cards. And like, yeah, when I try and tie it to that, like I can remember all that. But yeah, I think just the random seeking out of like parts of my childhood that just will float up is quite hard for me. I don't know why. Repression.
Yeah,
I didn't enjoy being kid at school.
If you've got PTSD, then I think that comes with it, doesn't? Okay,
Yeah.
give me a second, just for in case John comes across this stream. I'm going to end the stream now. You stay because we're going to carry this on offline and carry on our conversation offline. But for the sake of the stream, I'm going to end the stream. John, if you do see this, send me an email. We'll have a chat whenever, online, offline. You let me know when's good for you. But thanks everyone for watching and in stream now.